Reverend Janet Ellis.
Good morning, everyone. It is my honor and my privilege to welcome back Reverend Janet Ellis today. And Rev Janet is an impassioned speaker, a spiritual coach, interfaith minister, and she's a published author and training consultant. She specializes in personal resilience, emotional and spiritual wellness, leadership, and organizational renewal. And Rev Janet brings us part 2 of the power of imagination. How big is your want to? So please help me give a great big warm welcome to Rev Janet.
Good morning, everybody. I'm so glad to be back. So we're going to start with a meditation first. So if you all can get comfortable where you are, just gently close your eyes if you're willing. Take a deep breath. Let that belly expand as far as it can. Bring in the good air, the fresh air. And when you exhale, release all that is not needed in this moment right here, right now. Clear your mind. Let it go. Stay present in this moment right here, right now, in this connection that we have with one another. How amazingly beautiful it is that I feel so connected with you, even though you're in Canada and I'm in Texas. We are still one, and we know that. So continue to breathe deeply and release. Be gentle with yourself and just stay in this moment, this precious moment, as we come together as one. And in this space, this amazing space, we tap into our imagination, the beautiful tool that guides us, directs us, gives us hints and choices as to what the next step is for us to go and be and to show up in this world. Who are you to show up today? What is on your heart? What is in your mind? What is the universe communicating with you? How do you want to show up on this planet? How do you want to be interpreted as far as your beingness in this world? So for a moment, if you can, see yourself in front of you. Imagine you are standing in front of you. See yourself, the beautiful, precious child of God that you are. See him or her. Acknowledge him or her and embrace them. In this moment, connect with you and see what's there. What is in you that is longing to come up and out? What is in you that the world is waiting to see? What is in you that we so long to connect with? Take a moment and be with you in the silence. So take a deep breath in and bring you back to you, as always. Release that energy that is no longer needed. Acknowledge and thank yourself for being willing to come together. We are all one. We are one. We are. I am. God is. So gently wiggle your toes, open your eyes, and come back to this space right here, right now. So it is.
I am so grateful for this life I have to live. Oh, and I am so grateful for all I have to give. For I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. With a life overflowing and a heart full of love.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm unmuted, right? Can you hear me? Sweet. Okay, so I want to back up just a little bit for a moment for those that maybe was not able to join us last week, and just kind of back up and talk a little bit about what we covered. We were discussing imagination. It is the month of imagination. Actually, it is the year of the life. Our life is all about imagination, right? If we didn't have imagination, where would we be? Do you remember as a kid? Man, I remember as a kid, my imagination took me places that I could not even wrap my head around in other times. Now, today, my imagination takes me places that I don't know I always want to go to, but I know that I have control over it, and it can go where I want it to go. And that's the big piece of the awareness. So, imagination. The big piece here is when the faculties of the mind are understood in their threefold relation, which is spirit, soul, and body. Imagination is found that every form and shape originated in imagination, right? Did God have to have imagination to create us? Maybe, I don't know. I'm just saying. So, all three areas, three faculties, spirit, soul, and body, are connected with imagination. So, spirit of truth projects into the chamber of imagery pictures that, rightly understood, will be a sure guide for all people who believe in the omnipresence of mind. So there's got to be a belief there, first of all. There's got to be the ability to connect with imagination. And there's also, the most important is putting action to that imagination. We can sit here all day long and dream and imagine and consider what life could be like and what you'd like it to look like. However, when it comes to the ability to manifest something in your life that you would like to have, do we not need to put action to it? Yes. So this is the big thing today. How big is your want to? Do you understand what I'm saying about your want to? Everybody get, I know that somebody keeps telling me I need to change the title, but I like it. How big is your want to? My cousin, I went and stayed with a cousin of mine for 8 weeks recently. She had fallen and shattered her shin in 2 places. They put in a rod, 5 pins. She's disabled anyway, you guys. She's amazing. And I went and stayed with her because I literally was doing everything for her. She does not have use of her hands. And so everything, and you can get everything, I did everything for 8 weeks. But in this connection, in this camaraderie with her, we were able to create a flow that was so amazing because of where she was coming from, her faith, her belief, and her imagination. It was amazing. I learned more from that lady than I have known spiritually probably in a long time. So it's very important that we speak our truth of imagination. We all dream. Unfortunately, the majority of us do not attempt to interpret what the dream is and move forward on it. So as we talked last week, the night of dreams is something in the aspect of that. It is where you finally choose something that you really, 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 really want to pursue, have not had the guts to do it, and are now finally willing to step forward and say yes to that. And in my process of life, I have found that I am more willing than I ever imagined. So today I'm going to share a few of the different ideas and tools that I use to be able to stay in touch with my imagination and to continue to create the life that I would like to have, the life that I love living, and the life that I would love to share with others and the ideas. So some of you know this, we were talking about Romper Room before we all came in here, and talking about, I don't know if you guys remember, you know, that the lady held up that little tennis racket and looked through it and said, I can see Mary Lynn, I can see Celia, I can see Nancy, and then somebody else knew the rest of the saying and I don't know it, but I remember that piece right there stayed with me tremendously. Not only that, there was also another show, Won't You Be My Neighbor? Anybody know who that is? Yes, Fred Rogers. Guys know who he is? Okay, cool. So one of my moments in my process of wanting to make a difference in the world and really wanting to share my learnings and understandings with others so that maybe possibly I could help somebody, you know, who wants to change their life, really change their life. So I had been researching writing a book for a while, and it wasn't something that was heavy on my heart. However, an opportunity came up and I jumped on it, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't see any of it. And the book I had in mind is not the book that I wrote. And it's fascinating to say the least. So I'm sharing this with you. This is my published book. It's Wake Up, Break the Generational Cycle, and Be Yourself. It's on Amazon if you're interested, under Janet Ellis. It's thin, you guys. It's not a hard read. It's a deep read, but it's not a hard read. So if you're interested, tap in there, and then it's got my information in the back. If you want to reach out, have a discussion, whatever, you can go to my website. So I want to read a piece in here for you. The gentleman that wrote the foreword for me in this book was a dear friend of Fred Rogers. They met weekly for years before he passed. So I want to read this to you because this is an important piece in regards to putting feet to what we believe in. And if that's not the most important thing in the 5 steps of unity beliefs, is putting action to what we preach, which, okay, my take on it, you guys, this is me, my observation, my opinion, my perception, is that there are so many of us, me included. I got to a point in unity that I knew everything. I knew everything you needed to know about unity. I could preach, I could speak, I had the 5 steps memorized. I knew Charles Fillmore personally before it all got done. Oh, by the way, that's Charles Fillmore there. We decided we're going to call him Charles, if you can see him. Anyway, so I knew everything. And if anybody asked me any questions or wanted to learn about unity, by golly, I could tell you everything you wanted to know. And yet I wasn't living it. Can anybody relate? I got a head nod somewhere. Yeah. So it's very important that not only we wake up to the fact that we have imagination, And we wake up to the knowledge that we have in us. We have all the answers inside of us. Do we need guidance and help sometimes? Yes. And that's what the coaching is about. I'm not here to fix anybody. Nobody's broken. God doesn't make bad parts and pieces. So I know people are whole and complete. Sometimes they just forget and lose their way. And so I'm here to support in that process of waking up to you again and knowing the value of who you are. So this is what, excuse me, this is what Tim Madigan wrote in the foreword of the book. In the fall of 1995, I met and became close friends with Fred Rogers, the icon of children's television and one of our culture's secular saints. It was a time of great inner pain for me, and from the first, Fred tried to coax it out into the open. He called the pain my furies. Anything mentionable is manageable, he would say, or he would quote his good friend, the great Catholic writer Henry Nouwen, who said, what is most personal is most universal. In other words, my anger, my sadness, my depression, my shame was not something bad, but part of my humanity. And in fact, what I most shared with other members of my communities. A year after we met, Fred sent me Henry's latest book, The Inner Voice of Love, A Journey Through Anguish to Freedom. It was Henry's diary of the time when Henry spent recovering from an emotional breakdown. Fred told me that he thought it was one of his friend's finest books because it was his most personal, which is often the most universal. I am reminded of these things now after reading another book, this one by Janet Ellis. I wish Fred could have read it too. He would be as grateful for it as I am. Janet, like Henry, has gently reminded us by telling her own amazing story what it truly means to be human, and that we are not bad because we suffer. We suffer because we are human. But that primal pain is unnecessarily compounded. One of the greatest of all human afflictions, I believe, is not that existential suffering, but the isolation and shame we feel as we work so hard to conceal the often messy truth of our insides from one another. Janet, like Henry and others, in what I think is a growing human movement toward authenticity, invites us out into the light to tell the truth about our lives. As Janet herself demonstrates that brave truth-telling is not the end of the story, in many ways, it is just the beginning. Much healing and authentic suffering needs to be done as we explore old wounds and give them the attention they deserve. But in that journey, the burden becomes gradually less heavy, and we are revealed to ourselves, and we learn what we are truly put on this beautiful planet to do. Janet was put here to help us heal. She's a minister, a life coach, and speaker, and now an author. This book is brave, generous, and wise. It's not easy reading. She, in fact, dares you to read it, then to take up your truth and start down the road to healing. Please take her up on her dare. She's been down that road before you, and with these words, lights your way towards freedom. Are you ready? How ready are you? How big is your want to? How big is it? Seriously, you guys, how big is your want to? I love what Canada does in regards to the Indigenous people, in regards to your awarenesses and to your passion and your love for anybody and everybody. That was one of the things that I just adored when I was there. I learned more about religions, different countries, different dynamics, different thoughts and ideas in Canada than I had ever learned in my whole life here in the US. You guys are powerful individuals. And so with all this knowledge that you have and all the passion that you have, what is it you're wanting to do with it? What is it you're wanting to do with all that love and passion that you have? We can have great conversations. I know we could. I know we could sit for hours and talk about our passions and our ideas of what we want to do. However, the question is, what steps are you taking next to make it happen? What steps are you willing, and how willing are you? How big is your want to? What is your want to? If you don't have any idea, you guys are perfect. Get groups together. Here are tools that I'm offering. Get groups together if you want to pursue this. We have conversations amongst each other. We can do Zoom. We can create a night of dreams. We can create different studies. We can do whatever it is that you guys would like to see happen so that you can step forward and start being who you truly, truly want to be. How's that sound? I got nods. Yeah. All right. So one thing I'd love to share with you, and part of the book, back in 2000, I ran away from my work. Lynn and I had been married for, well, we got married in 93. So we were married a while, and I had been working in a company. I was in the corporate world, and I fell for the truth of I was too dumb to do anything else other than the data entry stuff I was doing. So for 20 something years, I sat in a cubicle inputting data into two computers, not just one, but two, because they were concerned if one broke down, the other would have to be a backup. So day in and day out. So here's this extrovert in a cubicle, putting numbers in. And every 10 minutes I'd be up, running up and down the cubicles, trying to find somebody to talk to because I was going crazy. And I finally walked over to Lynn one day. We worked in the same place. And I said, it's sanity or money. You have a choice. And he goes, you don't make enough to go crazy. So go ahead and quit. And I did. And at that point, I had no idea what was going to happen next. And it ended up, it was 2000. The world did not end. It did not stop. Computers didn't die. Things didn't blow up. So, oh God, I had to figure out what I wanted to do. And so I ended up going to this yoga studio. I thought, oh, I'm going to work on me. I'm going to get healthy and skinny and lean and cool and, you know, do something until I can figure out what I'm going to do. So I show up at the yoga studio and it's closed. So yoga studio's not open. It's pouring down rain. It's cold here in Texas in January. And I'm standing there and I'm going like, well, this is interesting. Yet there was a flyer on the window listing all the different workshops that were coming up for the year 2000. And the very first one said, the path, creating life for work and everything. And I just stood there a minute and I heard a voice in me say, that's it. You got to do it. And I go, okay, God, I'll do it. So I go home and I call the facilitator because I really didn't know what was involved. 3 days that next weekend, Friday to Sunday, intensive evidently. And I called her and I asked her how much it was, what we were going to do. And she shared with me. And at that time, you guys, it was $100. And I thought, oh God, I can't do that. I can't spend $100 on myself, especially since I'm not working now. Lynn, I know what you're thinking over there. So poor guy's been supporting me pretty much ever since. However, I'm doing what I love and it's coming together. So I ended up taking the class. Not only did I take the class, but she gave me a scholarship. I never paid for that weekend and it changed my life. And the big part of that is I was able to define what I am about, why I am here, what it is for me to do when I connect with others, one-on-one, in groups, talking with you, whatever it is I'm doing, this is my mission. And my mission is to ignite, illuminate, and encourage authenticity in myself and others. And I do that by creating a safe place for anybody and everybody to define and figure out what their potential is. Everybody has it. Everybody has potential. And I am so passionate about authenticity, you guys. Again, I'm speaking about me, my perception and where I'm coming from. Years and years in Unity, since 1986, my mom got me through the doors because I had to have a place to live, and she wouldn't let me come live with her unless I went to church. So I showed up at Unity, and I've been there ever since, and I love everything about it. However, no matter where you go to get your feeding, no matter what church, no matter what religion, no matter what thoughts, no matter, There are many individuals, me included, as I was saying earlier, that have all the knowledge in the world, but they're not walking their talk. And to me, that is the most important, especially if you're standing up at a podium preaching to others. And so this has been my direction, my need, my pull. And I can tell you there are days that I'm not authentic, man. I can hole up somewhere in my room and disappear for hours on end, 2 or 3 days. It just depends on what's going on. However, I still can wake up though. I wake up quicker. It doesn't last as long. And I have ideas and I get the passion and the energy back of where I'm supposed to go next. Does that make sense? Yes? Cool. Okay. So one of the tools that I use constantly is a vision board. How many of y'all know about vision boards? Anybody know about vision boards? Cool. Okay. So I'm going to share the one I have made for me for this year. I just want to give you an idea of where I am. And if you think that you can tell what it is that how I want to be and who I want to be, let me know. Hang on a minute. I got to switch here. Okay. So here's my vision board. There's my book in the middle, as you can see, right? There's Jesus laughing because he's the bomb. And then over here, you guys, I'm on a stage talking to millions. Look at that. Y'all know who Joel Osteen is? Have you heard of him? No, he's a minister here in Houston, Texas. Big dude, big. That's his congregation of 35,000. And I cut him out and put me in there. Right? Keep your vision in front of you. If you'll have a big vision, God will not only do what you're dreaming about, he will do more than you can ask or think. Money, 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 money. I just received a check for $10 million from the universe. I want to go see the world. Purpose, presence, and power. I want to make a change in my life and in the world. Make it real simple. Make it as simple as you can. Say yes, the door opens. Oh, you're all going to love this one. Oprah talks to Janet Ellis on Super Soul Sunday. Check it out. My vision, my mission, I can do it. So be truly grateful for all that you have. So you might want to just sit and be with something like this. One exercise I do with my clients, and this is something that you can do that's easy. Take a piece of paper and draw a line down the center of that page. And I might have mentioned this last week as well. On one side, write more of. On the other side, write less of. And make a list of what you want more of. Now, as humans, we're real good at knowing what we don't want. So typically we start on the less of side. So I want less stress. I want less health issues. I want less whatever it is. And go through the less then and ask yourself, well, if you want less stress, what do you want more of? Peace. What do you want more of? Money, financial freedom, all those things. And that column of the more is your vision board. Is your vision of what you want in your life. And then you can create whatever you want. Take a magazine, take pictures of yourself, everything that you want to do, you can create. And the biggest part of this is the imagination. Your mind sees in pictures only. It does not take words. And you may know this, but your mind also does not know real from unreal, right? So whatever you are saying to yourself, real or unreal, is what the mind is hearing and reacting to. So as I talked about habits last week, the behaviors and habits, you want to focus on the positive. There's all these things you can do. There's a book out there called 500 Affirmations and More. And they specify 500 affirmations. You can pick and choose those affirmations if you can't figure one out for yourself or one that really resonates with you. And you write it down 10 times a day for 21 days. I am free. 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 10 times first day to 21 days. If you miss a day, you have to start over again and go those 21 days. Because again, the mind thinks and grabs hold of what you are thinking. So first of all, you need to figure out what you're thinking. And the easiest way to do that is get in the quiet and hear the thoughts that come up in your mind. Okay? And then once you determine where those thoughts, what those thoughts are, then you can determine what you want to put in there instead of, in place of, or continue with. And I know most of this stuff is something that I already know that. However, the knowing and the doing are two different things. And I think the biggest thing for me is accountability and support. I am my worst. Okay, is that okay? Yeah, I am my worst enemy. I really am, because I'm in my head a lot, and it's where everything was created originally. And even though those thoughts in my head, most of my thoughts are not even mine. Most of your thoughts are not even your own thoughts. They were ingrained in you from the moment you were born, you know, and they're so automatic. That's where that I didn't know that I didn't know that I didn't know comes in, because we're so automatic on that we don't even know that we don't know what we're doing. And there's so many people asleep out there not knowing. Automatic pilot, guys, automatic pilot. And then we have something like COVID come up, and we're isolated with ourselves, and oh shit, now I get to really see who I am and how I'm showing up, right? It was scary the first month, but after that I got okay. So it's so important that you take that time for yourself. This community that you have in Kitchener and Ottawa is so powerful, you guys. Take advantage of it. Accountability is so important. Many years ago, I created an accountability group. I knew I needed to be held accountable because I could talk a good talk, man. I was such a good BSer. I could convince myself that I was right. So I had 3 other women. We met once a week for 8 years. 8 years, you guys. 4 of us met once a week. And we would state a change we wanted to make that week. It could have been a baby step. It could have been as tiny as, you know, waking up at 7:30 instead of 10, or waking up to affirmations instead of, oh God, I got to get up, whatever it was. And then when we met the next week, it was, did you complete the task that you said you were going to do the week before? And absolutely, because I didn't want to come back and say, no, I didn't do it. So it was real important that I had that accountability. Very important. Get a support system together. It's okay. Be a Zoom, be a Facebook, be a whatever you got to do. Make it happen if that's what you need. So you need to figure out what it is that you want. What it is that you want to put out in the world. What it is how you want to show up. What is it on your heart? What is it that's in your body that just, you know, there are things sometimes I could be sitting here and just doing my whatever daily stuff, and then all of a sudden it peeks out. It kind of peaks and it says, hello, I'm still here. Are you going to do something, or are you just going to sit here and veg? And today I'm going to veg. Tomorrow I might do something, but it's huge. You got to know what it is. How big is your want to? If your want to is not that big, then let it go. Find out what that want to is. Find out what that want to is. Again, we need you. We need you to be here and present, awake. Oh my God, as much as what's going on right now with all the shootings and the killings and such, you guys, we need to get that energy out there that's positive, loving, and caring, and work with each other. and truly put that energy out there that's needed. There's so many of us out here, unitics, people that love each other, people that are kind and generous and want to make a change in the world. We are out here and we are needed. So wake up to your imagination, and then figure out how big your want to is. I want to be there with you guys again and again and again. I want to be able to come to Canada and see my family. That's my big want to right now. So as soon as Canada opens up, let me know, okay? We'll figure something out. Now, one more thing I'll leave you with. This is so cool, you guys. Just trying to figure out what to wear today. Are you ready? Let's see if I can get it on me. It's John Lennon and Imagine. Yeah, right? Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. He's with us today. So take that imagination of yours. Have fun with it. Bring that little kid out. Go play. Blow bubbles. Throw balls. Take the dog out for a walk. Whatever you need to do to get that imagination stirring. And then come back and lay out a plan. And let me know what comes up for you. I'm here to support you any way I can. Thank you.
Oh, wow, Janet, thank you so much. What a great reminder. And I just am so grateful for the tools that you provided. I don't share this with many people, but I know how powerful I can be. And so I became afraid of what I asked for because I didn't know what I didn't know, and I didn't know what I wanted. And so I just love how you shared some of those practical steps, the list of, putting on one side what I don't want and using that to identify what I do want. It gives me goosebumps. So I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful having you with us. I'm grateful to Reverend Roxanne for bringing you to us. And I look forward to your visit when you come both to Kitchener and Ottawa when our borders open. So thank you, thank you, thank you.